and my job has been made much easier by these presentations. At the outset, I must congratulate Dr. Nathawat for organizing such a critical conference heard in a series which is covering a vast area. The methodologies that Professor Dalal was speaking and the way that we should conduct researches in positive psychology definitely points out that the Indian mindset is more attuned to the first person methodology. It is the experiential thing. It is the thing that one does and learns. It is the thing that one acquires by doing. And that is the thing that I shall be talking in my presentation. So Sir Girishwar Mishra told that the Indian approach is yatha pinde tatha brahmande. Whatever there is in the body is in the cosmos, and our way of living or way of practicing things brings out that we believe in this type of unison with the cosmos. We are not one. We are actually part of this whole universe, and whatever we do actually affects every living being as well as the part of this whole universe. The spirituality that Hindu mindset speaks of is something that does not speak of the other, it speaks of the self. Actually, the Hindu word is something which is not a word that we find in our scriptures. We call it the Sanatan Dharma. Our Dharma is Sanatan Dharma, which may be roughly translated as the eternal code. And the definition of Dharma I shall just be giving after a little while. The peculiarity of the Sanatana Dharma is that it has not been founded by any historical person, it has not been revealed by any historical person, it is there from time immemorial, it is there since the birth of humanity, it is there since we have learned how to live. It is Sanatana, something which is eternally present, something which is always there. So the person is there. His first person understanding is always there. It had made spirituality its highest aim of life, and it tried to turn the whole of life towards spirituality. The opening shloka of the Ishavasya Upanishad speaks this: Ishavasyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tektena bunjitha ma gridha kasyasvidhanam. Translated roughly, it means that whatever is there in this world is the abode of the Lord. Ishavasyam, avas of the Isha, avasya, abode of the Lord. And whatever is there, everything, whatever you see, whatever is there, seen, unseen, present, absent, whatever is there is actually the manifestation of the Lord. And realizing that this all is His, you make use of it without greed, for whose wealth is it after all. Tena tektena bunjitha, it is His. Use it, consume it, but do not exploit it. The Western methodology that we have actually learned is exploitation-oriented methodology. We exploit this Mother Earth, having more fertilizers to have more produce. This exploitation, not a relationship which is based on cohesion, on harmony, on something that live and let others live, that is not there in the Western methodology. So here we have this thing that Ishavasyam idam sarvam. Whatever is there is Isha avasyam. This approach towards sacredness in everything indicates spirituality in the person. It inculcates spirituality. Adhyatma, word Adhyatma, spirituality is roughly translated as Adhyatma. Adhyatma is actually a word which is coinage of upasarga or prefix adhi with atma, herself. It has two meanings. It is used for subjectivity, the first person account as Professor Dalal was just speaking about, and it also speaks about atmano sambandhina adhyatma, something that relates to your own self, understanding of your own self, self-realization. That part is also adhyatma. So when we speak of adhyatmika, it is something related to subjectivity. When we speak of adhyatma, we speak of this sacred knowledge, knowledge of the self. Hinduism did not set a single narrow path of seeking salvation because it was less a creed or cult than a continuously enlarging method of the Godward endeavor of the human spirit. So, not a specific single narrow path. You can choose from among so many paths, so many approaches, so many ways to know the same truth. Professor Dalal was speaking about those things, and he also quoted Sri Aurobindo. He also quoted his methodology. All the seers actually work on the self-realization path. A spiritual self-development based on self-finding was aimed to be brought about in every person's life. So the core of Hinduism is a spiritual discipline. Spirituality is inherent in every activity. This spiritual discipline, spiritual functioning, spirituality that is reflected in your daily living, daily practicing, all that is part of our living, our experiencing things. Everything is that way explained in the nature of dharma. The definition of dharma that we find in the Mahabharata, in the Karna Parva, it says that dharana dharma ityahu dharmo dharayate praja yatyat dharana sanyuktam sa dharma iti nishchaya. Dharana dharma ityahu. Dharma sustains the society. It sustains. It is part of society. So, it is the sustenance. Sustenance and wellness that, as Professor Girishwar Mishra was speaking about. So, dharana dharma ityahu, dharmo dharayate praja. Dharma maintains the social order. Dharma ensures well-being and progress of humanity. Dharma is surely that which fulfills these objectives. So, that which holds, that which sustains, that which is there, that which is part of you, that is dharma. So religion can never be translated as dharma. Dharma is something entirely different, and here we find the sustenance of the dharana dhamityahu dharmo dharete praja. It sustains the society, sustains everyone. This conceptualization of human reality in the indigenous Indian tradition has been undertaken at several levels. These levels place human beings in their total ecosystemic context, about which Professor Girishwar Mishra and Professor Kiran Kumar were speaking so elaborately, which encompasses the material, the socio-cultural as well as the spiritual worlds together. It construes human existence as a part of the universal order which is perceived as natural. In the Western view, the terms mind, spirit and consciousness are all synonymous, indicating the main characteristics of the being. In the West, we find mind, spirit, consciousness as synonymous, but not in our tradition. Here we have Man, Buddhi, Chit and Ahankar as the instruments. They are separate. Each one is having its own entity. So here ancient Indians put it in most unambiguous terms that mind is something material and different from consciousness. Consciousness is the nature of the self. Chidaswarupa. Chit is the Swarupa. Chit is the real nature. And more specifically, mind according to the Indian point of view is a metabolic energy that has a tendency to stabilize itself in the uppermost part of the body, presumably the heart. So, the one quotation, Shiva Sankalpa Sukta of the Shukla Yajurveda speaks this. Susharati Raswaniva yan Manusyan Nemi Yase Abhishavir Vajinaiva Rit Pratishtam Yat Ajiram Javishtam Tanme Mana Shiva Sankalpam Asti. What is this mind? May that mind of mine which guides living beings from one place to another. Sushariti Raswan Ivayan Manusyan Nemite Abhishubhir Vajinaiva. Like the horses which carries on the persons. May the mind of mine which guides living beings from one place to another as a good charioteer does with horses and controls them by reins, which resides in the heart and is never old, with pratishtam ajiram javishtam, which is never old, ajiram. Javishtam means very powerful, very fast, be of auspicious resolution. Tanme mana Shiva Sankalpam Asti. Our mana, our mind must be of good resolution. This feeling that our mind must be expanded. It must be noble. It must be auspicious. This approach that we must have, each one is part of us. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, as we shall see towards the end, that entire world, all the world is happy. That is the approach that we have. The indigenous Indian approach emphasizes a continuous relationship between man and nature. It places man in nature against the Western approach of man over nature. We are harmoniously living in this nature, in this mother nature. So man in nature as against man over nature approach of the West. The harmonious and non-separate relationship between man and nature leads to inculcating identity across all life forms. This identity, this non-separation about which Professor Grishma Mishra so elaborately spoke, is something that is indigenously present in us, in Indian approach. Now, to bring home this point, the sacred thread that is Yajnopavita, that most Hindus wear, is worshipped with this mantra. Omkaragni tatha sarpan somapitri prajapatin vayu suryascha vishwascha devan navasu tantushu. You see, the Yajnopavita, each thread of the Yajnopavita has 9 sub-threads, and each sub-thread is invoked and worshipped with a particular deity. Each thread comprises 9 sub-threads, and each sub-thread is invoked with a deity in this order: Omkar, fire, snakes, Som, forefathers, Prajapati, air, sun, and the Vishwadeva. And the 3 notes are invoked with Brahma, Vishnu and Rudra, these 3 notes. So that way, when you wear a Yajnopavita, you are having this permission or the sanction or the universal presence of all these 9 plus 3. So everyone is there with you. You are part of them and they are part of you. That way, in this manner, a close and harmonious relationship with all aspects of the mother nature is maintained. This realization is reflected in Hindu daily practices. Immediately as a Hindu gets up in the morning, he recites these shlokas. Karagre vasate Lakshmi, Kara madhye Saraswati, Kara mule tu Govinda, Prabhate Kara darshana. Lakshmi resides at the tips of the fingers, Saraswati in the middle of the hand, and Lord Govinda at the roots of the palm. Thus the hands must be seen in the morning. So, every morning we get up by remembering these Lakshmi, Saraswati, Govinda in the morning. Then we do another prayer. Samudra vasane devi parvatastana mandite Vishnu patni namastutyam padasparsham kshamaswami. As you get up, you will tread on this Mother Earth. So you must seek permission. You must seek forgiveness. You must get approval. For that, it says that, O Mad Devi, O Mother Earth, wife of Lord Vishnu, whose clothes are the ocean, whose breasts are the mountains, I salute you and beg your forgiveness for placing my feet on you. So, before placing your feet on the Mother Earth, you have to seek her permission. This type of relationship, this type of close semblance, this type of harmonious relationship, this type of belongingness, that is there in our Hindu tradition. All Hindu daily rituals are performed after sipping thrice while enchanting a mantra. For each sip of water, a small amount of holy water. This step is called the Achamana, which is done by reciting the names Om Keshavaya Namah, Om Narayana Namah, Om Madhavaya Namah, and with each name a little water is dipped in. After thrice sipping of water, finally hands are cleaned with a little water while reciting the name Om Govindaya Namah. The purpose of Achaman is a sort of inner preparedness for getting ready to perform a ritual. So you have to prepare yourself for doing a ritual every day. This is followed by then taking a resolution to observe a particular ritual. Sankalpa or the resolution is there, and this sankalpa is very important. In sankalpa, one is required to pronounce one's name and lineage, Naam and Gotra, along with details of Tithi, Var, Nakshatra, date, etc. and also his resolve to perform the ritual. So you are related, there is a lineage. Traditionally you are there. And thereafter, one is required to perform the pranayama. It's an absolute must. So, prior to performing any step, a remembrance of the sphere of that particular Veda mantra known as Vinayog is required. A Vinayog is an attempt to remember the sphere, the Rishi, who first visualized that particular Veda mantra, the meter or chanda, and the deity of that particular mantra. It relates the person doing a particular ritual to the principal sphere, Rishi, along with other aspects of the mantra. You see, the Veda mantras are believed not to be written by any person. They are believed to be visualized during the course of their sadhana. Rishis visualize them. That's why in our tradition it is said that Rishayo mantra drashtara. The rishis visualize those mantras in various stages of their sadhana. So that way, when you pronounce a mantra, you have to remember that particular rishi who visualized that mantra. So when you do that Gayatri mantra, you have to realize that this was realized by Rishi Sage Vishwamitra. So that in Vinayog is important. You are related, you are part of that whole tradition. So this is called that Vinayog. So this pranayama helps in controlling the wavering mind and reduces the amount of stress also. So ancients had visualized that the energy that is required for the level of functioning is called prana, or life force. Accordingly, the ancient sages pronounced several millennia ago that life is in the breath. And therefore, one is compulsorily required to do pranayama while performing any Hindu ritual. So pranayama is an absolute must. It has to be done every day. But what is this prana? It is no doubt our breathing. because breathing is considered to be the vehicle of the prana, vehicle for prana. Nevertheless, the prana, in addition to breathing, includes both water and sunshine. In yoga philosophy, they are all interconnected. Actually, what happens when we take the breath, it has been shown that there is a constant inflow of new parts in our body from the earth, and everything that we see on the earth, including water, plants and animals. The prana, the vayu, the air that we take, is not only simple air, oxygen and H2O and all that. It is something related with all these things, water, plants and animals. The vegetation makes the oxygen we breathe, but only in the presence of the sunshine, and absorbs the carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide we throw out as a waste product. We consume animal and vegetable products, and our excrement is consumed by several other creatures, and it finally turns into valuable manure for further vegetation. In fact, this whole process extends beyond the earth and the sun. It is known that certain elements in our body, such as phosphorus in our bones, were formed at an earlier stage in the evolution of a galaxy. This phosphorus has come from the earlier stage of the galaxy, and it has been proved by the scientific study. Dosi has quoted it, that reference will come later. And it has been shown that these things are coming from so many generations back. Even at the time, before the time of evolution of our galaxy, this thing is present. So we are continuously present. That part is shown in our pranayama. Like many elements in the earth's crust, these were cycled through the lifetime of several stars before appearing on the earth and finding their way through to our body. The carbon atoms that are part of each of us now will become part of the earth and may become part of someone or something else later. So we are continuously present in the past, in the present as well as in the future. Whatever we do is related. Whatever we do is harmoniously part of the entire universe. It's not a single identity. It's not an isolated or island sort of thing. It's something which is continuously present. That part is there. There is an endless exchange of elements between living things and the earth. We do not wait until death to return to where we came from. We are constantly returning to the Mother Earth while we are alive. We are thus part of the basic oneness with the universe. This is from Dosi's book, 1982. Dosi has stated that the pranayama is related to all these things. This knowledge of oneness with the universe renders spirituality in the Hindu mindset. The Hindu daily practices show that the perpetual flow of this world is not all. Its subjection to law and tendency to perfection indicates that it is based on a spiritual reality. The Hinduism's central idea is that of the eternal. The spirit is encased in matter. It is involved and immanent in it. Sri Aurobindo has, I'll quote with the quotation of Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo has contended that Indian religion placed 4 necessities before human life. First, it imposed upon the mind a belief in a highest consciousness or state of existence, universal and transcendent of the universe, from which all comes, in which all lives and moves without knowing it, and of which all one day must grow aware, returning towards that which is perfect, eternal and infinite. Next, it laid upon the individual life the need for self-preparation by development and experience till man is ready for an effort to grow consciously into the truth of this greater existence. Thirdly, it provided it with a well-founded, well-explored, many-branching and always enlarging way of knowledge and of spiritual or religious discipline. Lastly, for those not yet ready for these higher steps, it provided it an organization of the individual and collective life, a framework of personal and social discipline and conduct, of mental and moral and vital development, by which they could move each in his own limits and according to his own nature in such a way as to become eventually ready for the greater existence. The first three of these elements are the most essential to any religion, but Hinduism has always attached to the last also a great importance. It has left out no part of life as a thing secular or foreign to the religious and spiritual life. This is a quotation from the Foundations of Indian Culture, page 124. So, we have seen that the core of Hinduism is a spiritual discipline. But this spiritual discipline has to be done, has to be acquired according to one's capacity, according to one's way, according to one's actual way of doing things. Not one specific path for each one of us, because we all are bound by our own karma, and karma is something that guides us. The Gita says in the 18th chapter, Svesve karmanyabhirata sansiddhim labate naram. One can attain the sansiddhi, the self-realization, by doing one's own duty, one's own karma. Svesve karmanyabhirata. One must not do some other's work. So one's own action, one's own karma is important, and each one can attain this thing. As Swami Vivekananda said, that each soul is potentially divine and the need is to acquire that knowledge afresh. With this word I close. Thank you very much.